So about a year ago, Dango gifted me this Dango D01. It's kind of their base model wallet, and I wanted to compare it to my long-standing kind of two-plate and elastic band style wallet in the Ridge wallet. In this video, I'm going to go through 7 different categories for these wallets and put them head to head, and I'm going to let you know which one wins in each category, and at the end, I'm going to let you guys know exactly which one I recommend, and there's one obvious winner. But before we get into that, I want to let you guys know a little bit more about each wallet. The Ridge wallet is the biggest name in the category. Everyone knows who Ridge is if they have done any form of shopping when it comes to minimalist wallets. It's essentially that same two-plate and an elastic band style wallet. It's really, really basic, really easy to understand, and this is their aluminum white version. Meanwhile, Dango uses a very similar tactic in that two-plate design and an elastic band. It has the same thing, but it builds on it by having a leather kind of covering on the front, which has an easy access card pouch right here, and then the elastic band does come all the way around. Outside of that, the basic idea of the wallet is the same as the Ridge, which is probably why you're looking for a comparison. Getting right into the first category, and that is build quality. I actually have these two wallets as a tie because I'll be honest, they are about the same. I haven't really had any issues when it comes to like build quality, manufacturer defects, or any of that kind of stuff. So when it comes to that, I'm not going to go too far into it, but they both are pretty high quality and I have no qualms with either one of these. Number 2, the winner is going to be Ridge wallet. So these are minimalist wallets in the end, and so you got to make sure to pay attention to sizing, and as you can see right here, the Dango is considerably larger both in height and in depth, whatever you want to say for those things right there. But the Dango is obviously larger, and the reason behind that is actually the railing on this side. So as you can see, the Ridge wallet is actually about the size of that inner plate there, and the outside has a little railing. Now, I think one of these is actually a bottle opener, which I never use, but otherwise this railing essentially kind of keeps the cards on the inside of the wallet. And Ridge just does that with an elastic band, and so they easily cut down on size there, which makes the Dango considerably larger than the Ridge wallet, which makes the Ridge wallet an easy win on this one. Because when it comes to minimalist wallets, smaller is better. Now, as for actual card capacity on these two wallets, they are both rated for 1 to 12 cards, and that is technically true. However, I will say the Ridge does a little bit better when it gets up to the higher capacity, just because it is only an elastic band holding everything together. Now, as for the Dango, you can see I've added a few more cards here. Once it gets up into that higher spectrum of cards, it gets a little bit more awkward as the cards start to pass the railing, and they're a little bit more difficult to get cards out of. So once you get into that higher capacity of 12 cards, the Dango starts to lose its appeal. So let's keep moving on. Before we continue on with this video, please subscribe to the video if you found any of the information in this video helpful whatsoever, and let's move on with the video. And in fact, what I was talking about a little bit earlier gets a little bit more expounded upon in this next category, and that is daily usability, which the Ridge is just the obvious winner. So there's a couple reasons behind that. Now, the first thing comes down to cash storage. So the Ridge wallet is a simple process. You just kind of put your cash in like that, and it's really easy to get in and out. This metal plate does a really good job of kind of keeping the elastic band at bay and makes it so it is an easy process to put cash in and out of. Meanwhile, the Dango is a little bit harder. It's actually a little bit harder to get your cash in, and then it's also, because it is so wide there, it's also harder to get the cash out. I find it just a little bit more of a clunky process, and it's just because this is a fully elastic band instead of having something like that metal plate there, which gives it a little bit more form. I found that I just didn't really like putting cash in quite as easily, and it kind of bunches up a little bit, and you can actually see I have a little bit of issue there. If I put it in through the top, it's trying to go into that quick access card slot. You have to put it in through the bottom, and even that is a little bit of a challenge. You can see the cash right there is kind of starting to bend up and unfold. So when it comes to cash storage, the Dango definitely isn't quite as good as the Ridge. Which leads me to quick access. Now, this is not a new category. I'm still talking about daily usability, and so let's talk about the cash storage part of it. And like we talked about earlier, card capacity is 12 on both wallets. However, actually getting to the cards and putting the cards back into the wallet is also more difficult with the Dango. Now, taking them out isn't too big of a deal. They both use the same kind of notch where you push up and you have access to the cards that way. That's not too big of a deal, but it's when you put cards back in. So you can actually see a little bit better on the Ridge wallet. I don't know if you can see it on camera. There's little kind of grooves on the sides of these plates, and what that allows for is when you take these cards out and you have an empty wallet, it has little grooves that you just basically push down on, and it kind of guides it into the plate. It's even easier when when you already have cards in there. You can see it is a simple process to throw new cards in there. But when you jump over to the Dango does not have that. As you can see, it's just straight plates. There's no kind of curvature going on the plates. And so what you have to do is you literally have to pry the plates apart to get them in there. And because they have that railing, it's also a little bit more difficult. So you can see, it got stuck on that plate. It's a little bit clunkier of a process and not nearly as, yeah, see, you can't do that. You have to literally pry the plates open to get your card in. And it's just a little bit more annoying and way more clunky than the Ridge wallet. Now, I'm not somebody that talks too negatively about products, but I do like to point out the issue, especially when I'm doing these versus types of videos. And when you're comparing the two, just the daily usability, as you can see, even coming down to the things like the sizing, is just considerably better with the Ridge wallet. Now, going back to quick access cards, so obviously the Ridge, I have complained in the past about how it is a little bit more difficult to get to your most used cards, especially when in comparison to things like Extra, which I've also reviewed. I'll leave a card up here for you. But it does do a good job overall, and it has a higher capacity than a lot of the other wallets. But one of the cool things about the Dango was that it has this quick access pocket, which was really, really nice. So you can just go like this and put it in there. But the issue is once you have a bunch of stuff in here, cash in here, it's actually really difficult to get to that quick access card and get it out. And I was surprised by that, especially when you can kind of see it. So if I pry back right there, you can see there's this little leather thing right here. What happens a lot is you take your card and you push it into there and it'll catch, you can see it'll kind of catch right there, and it bends that leather forward right there. And then, especially if you have cash in here, you have to pull that card out and you have to kind of bend that leather back up to be able to allow you to put that card in there correctly. That actually happens quite a bit more than I would like to admit. So anyways, I'm not wanting to necessarily bash on this Dango D01 wallet, but I am trying to point out the things that the Ridge is better in. But let's go now to the fourth category, which is pricing, which is definitely where the Dango D01 does win out. Now, the Dango D01 is about $30 cheaper than the Ridge wallet. So if you are looking for a budget wallet that kind of sacrifices a little bit, this is a really good way to get into the minimalist wallet revolution. And then the Dango D01 also does win out in the styling. I can't get around the fact that how nice this wallet does look. I really like the metal railing. I really do like the fact that it does have leather. I do like the look of leather wallets. And so it is really nice that there's manufacturers that are bringing true leather to these minimalist metal wallets. Around back, of course, you have this really nice metal look. It's just the plates, it's just the coloring. It really does work. And so I do think styling-wise, Dango has done a really, really good job. Now, as for a warranty and a return policy, these really aren't that much different. They both do have a limited lifetime warranty. However, the Ridge wallet does have a 90-day return policy, and this has a 30-day return policy. Both do require you to have them in like new conditions, so you're not really actually able to test them. But they both do have a decent warranty and return policy, with the Ridge ever so slightly being better. And so that is all the different categories, and now comes my final recommendation, and I think you guys all know exactly where I'm going with this. I'd have a hard time not recommending the Ridge wallet over the Dango D01, even though the Ridge wallet is a little more expensive and it probably doesn't look quite as cool. It is just considerably easier to use, and it's smaller, and it just has just overall better capabilities than the Dango wallet. So I probably would recommend you guys go with the Ridge. Of course, both of these wallets do have their redeeming qualities. So if you did like things like the styling and the price, and the matching build quality of the Dango, then go for it. It really is a cool wallet, and it does a great job. Now, I know a lot of people have those Western bifold wallets. If you're somebody like that but wants to go into a minimalist wallet like this, the Dango is a great option. For the rest of you, you probably should just go with the Ridge. I think you're gonna be happier. I am gonna have links to both of these wallets in the top comment as well as the description. So if you guys wanna purchase one for yourself, I definitely recommend you doing that. I am also going to leave the article version of this video where I do updates as I think of more, so you can click that and kind of see my most up-to-date thoughts.